Hello, what's going on, everyone? You guys hear me all right? It's taking a bit longer than usual. Yeah, all right, we got the yos. All right, the yos are here, the hellos are here. So, who has noticed that the audio quality is not that nice? You can be honest, you can say it, the audio quality is not that nice, is it? Just, let's all acknowledge that, right? Audio quality, worse than usual. Here is why. I'm not in my usual setup. Justin Holland says, hello, got a thought. Nice stuff, Justin Holland. Justin Holland doesn't want to share what that thought is, but he wants us to know that he has a thought. Silvers, what's up? Good to see you, my man. So, I'm not in my usual setup. What I'm doing right now is... What do you mean it's fine? No, don't tell me the audio is fine. Yeah, there we go. Carlos is being honest. Do not tell me the audio is fine. Because if the audio is fine, that means that I pay to use a good mic. I bought a really nice mic for no reason. Why do I have a Blue Yeti mic if the audio is fine right now? For the record, by the way, I'm not using a Blue Yeti. Okay, so normally I use a Blue Yeti, the goal being to have good audio. But if you're telling me I have good audio regardless of whether or not I have the Blue Yeti, then why did I buy the Blue Yeti? Blue Yeti is a mic type, by the way, the type of mic. It's passable, says Silvers. Yes, Sunil says it's not fine. That's what I want to hear. Otherwise, what's the point of the mic? If the audio is fine with or without the mic, then what's the point of the mic? So, Finn, the audio cannot possibly be crispy. Do not say that. All right? This is what I want to see. Yo-Yo-chan saying it's not that bad. So I'm fine with the audio not being that bad right now. It just can't be the same as normal. Otherwise, it's like, why do I pay for equipment? You know? Like, if you... like, the same way that the camera quality right now is worse than my usual video camera quality, not my stream quality, you know? My stream quality is always like this. But my usual video quality, the videos that I release on the channel, the camera quality is much higher than this quality, right? Because I use a much more expensive camera for that. So if the quality was the same, then what would be the point of that expensive camera? You guys get what I'm talking about, all right? So let's move it along. Point being, I'm not in my usual location. Right now, I'm trying to find a new place to live, which means that I have to visit a few different cities and kind of, just visit a few different cities and basically check out houses and stuff like that. So I don't have my usual setup. All I have is my laptop, no nice mic, no nice background. The internet's surprisingly fine. Justin Holland says, you okay in this heat wave? You don't even know where I am, Justin Holland. So how could you possibly be asking if I'm okay in this heat wave? Unless there's a worldwide heat wave going on right now. Chunwal Alibache says, Morge, talk more about the Luffy and Zoro dynamic, please. What do you want me to say on it? Get to the point, Morge, says Deco Vico. Yeah, so point being, I'm visiting different places, so I'm not in my usual setup. I'm actually, I'm visiting the city that my sister is in right now, so I'm staying at her place. So, hence the blank background. Normally my background is also somewhat blank, but at least has like, you can kind of see a window and a TV in the background. Anyway, let's get to actually talking about One Piece stuff. Justin Holland asks, do you see my thoughts? Lakdeep Brar says, okay, this is the question that's on everyone's mind, right? Thoughts on the Gum Gum fruit was needed for protection of the Red Line. Possible awakenings make surroundings rubber. So I considered doing a video on this subject because this is kind of like, what's the point of the Gum Gum fruit? That's the question mark that everybody has. I got to upload my Patreon podcast because I shared a lot of thoughts on it in depth there, but I'll do something shorter here. So, IV Nightclaw, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. So, my thoughts are basically, yes, I like the idea that the Gum Gum fruit is useful because of its awakening. Okay, I like the idea that it's useful because of its awakening because it would serve a specific purpose of basically preventing the Red Line, not necessarily making it indestructible, but at least making it very difficult to destroy with things like the Guru Guru no Mi, for instance. Even something like Pluton. We know Pluton's a giant ship, so maybe it has a giant cannon. But as we know, one of the first things that the Gum Gum no Mi is shown to do throughout the series is be able to stop cannons. So even if Pluton's able to shoot a giant fucking cannon, the Gomu Gomu no Mi should be able to stop that, for example. Brago the Ace is here, making sure I'm still modded. Oh, Brago, you know that... you know you've done me wrong for years. For years and years. Everyone, I was just recently modded in BDA Law's channel. All that happened, I saw BDA Law was hosting a stream on Chapter 1017, so I went over just to check it out. Okay, so just to check out the beginning. Naturally, the stream had not started yet, and he had not shown up, so it was just a blank screen that everyone was staring at, right? So, I was just, just dropping in to say hi, basically. So I left a little comment, and to my shock, I still had a gray name. There was no blue wrench next to my name. I just dropped a little comment, like, oh, the stream's probably late or something like that, and then that quickly escalated to fury as I realized that after years... I've known Brago, I've known Brago for, I think, like 3 years or something at this point. I'm still not a mod in his chat. I was like, is this some sort of a joke? Random people above me, like every fifth person in that chat had a blue wrench next to their name. There were like 50 mods in that chat. And then I'm just sitting there like an idiot with a gray name. And then when I think the stream started, Brago didn't even believe that was me. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do to prove that this is like, what do you want? You want my ID? Look at all these other morons above me with blue wrenches. Did you ID them? How closely were they vetted before they became mods? So then I became a mod, and then I left because I was upset. So that's the story of that. Good news is I'm a mod in Brago's chat now. So, that's the good news. The story did have a happy ending, but we're not going to talk about that anymore. If Brago shows up again, maybe I'll try and unmod him, but he's disappeared. Oh no, he's still there. I won't unmod Brago because I'm the bigger man. Darquan Jr. says Morge hating on us common people. No, I'm not hating on the common people. I'm more so wishing I could be one of the elite class. I was a commoner who wanted to be one of the elite class. Does that make sense? I don't think that's hating on the common people. That's more so, wishing to up your standing in society, and I think that's totally fair. Golden Prodigy 115 says, not gonna lie, a hybrid queen looking thick. So, anyway, besides that comment, which was not productive, Queen's always looking... What do you mean hybrid queen's looking thick? Have you seen Queen outside of hybrid form? It was the hybrid form what it took for you to be like, oh, Queen's looking thick. What did you think Queen was a size 0, skinny little... BDA Law with the checkmark showed it. What? Oh, no. How come Brago's modded twice in my chat, and it took me 3 years to get modded once in his chat? This is ridiculous. Brago's flexing with 2 mods in his chat. In this chat. This is ridiculous. I should make a second account. Actually, I do have a second account. I just don't use it. I'm trying to get that modded as well to keep it even. Anyway, yeah, Queen's always been thick, dude, so I don't know what you're talking about. The point being... no talking about... Yeah. So, point being... oh, no, I was talking about the rubber fruit red line thing. That's way more interesting than this stuff. So, I like the idea that the rubber fruit, it's used for its awakening to, make the entire red line invincible. The one thing, though, is that it does feel like a bit of a... It just kind of raises a question mark, because I'm like, is that literally the best fruit for that purpose? Like, the world government doesn't have access to some sort of other fruit that can do the same thing, right? Like Bartolomeo's fruit, for example. How is the rubber fruit better than Bartolomeo's fruit for keeping the red line invincible? Bartolomeo's fruit stopped, the king punch or something like that. So, shouldn't it be the prime fruit for basically preventing the destruction of the red line, if that's really important to the world government? So, with that in mind, I don't know. It's going to depend how Oda spins it. If the idea is that the rubber fruit is really special because it's useful for the awakening of the awakening is useful for protecting the red line, preventing it from destruction from things such as the Guru no Mi or Pluton, I think Oda is going to have to give a bit of justification for why this fruit in particular is the best fruit for that goal, right? Because we have so many other fruits. One thing I talked about in my patron podcast, I still have to upload that. I'll upload that today. Patrons, I'm sorry if sometimes I'm a little sloppy with the uploads on that, but they do usually end up making it onto the web. So keep that, because I have to send it over. Never mind, I won't explain it here. There's no excuses, okay? But the patron podcast will go up today. But one thing I talk about there is basically, are there not other fruits that, if awakened, could produce a very similar effect of protecting the red line, right? So, Katakuri's fruit, for example. Katakuri's fruit does seem fairly useful. It does seem like if you awaken Katakuri's fruit, turned all of the red line into mochi, would it not have a fairly similar effect to rubber? I mean, that was something that was played up a lot throughout Whole Cake Island, how they're very similar fruits, but the mochi fruit is better in some ways. Maybe rubber is better for defense, but like, it's just, if the world government really wanted a fruit that can protect the red line, I feel like it's not like just the gum gum fruit is the only one that can really do that. I feel like there's probably dozens of fruits with the factor of awakening involved that could be really, really useful for making the red line very hard to destroy. Also, it just raises the question of, okay, how much can the Goma Goma no Fruit's awakening extend to? Like, the red line, saying that the fruit can awaken enough to cover the entire red line and just turn that into rubber, that's just by far the largest scale devil fruit effect we'd ever have seen. So it's a little difficult. Oh, wait, hold up. Everyone stop. Chinho Wong says, hi, Morge, like the stream. Chinho Wong, thank you, you genius, for reminding me what I should have said at the beginning of the stream. Guys, like the stream. Let's all like the stream, all right? We all like this stream, right? Don't dislike the stream. Like the stream. We all love the stream. So, yeah, we should all express that through our likes. We like the stream. If I say it enough, then I think it'll kind of just subconsciously get through you guys' heads that, oh, wait, we do like the stream, let's like it. So, oh my god, it jumped so much. I always am surprised by me saying, hey, can you like the stream, how much that results in an actual jump in terms of likes for the stream. I do actually appreciate that, outside of jokes, that you guys are liking the stream. Thank you very much, I definitely appreciate it. I should remember to say it earlier in the stream, to like the stream. I just forget about it. Fabian Zamora says, are you drunk? No, I'm not drunk, but I have had a very, very long day. I've been checking houses and apartments and trying to figure out basically what where I want to live. And I have very limited time, so right after this, I have to take the car. I have to go pick my sister up from work because she's letting me have the car for the day, which means I get the freedom of having the car, but then I also have to go get her from work. But she's letting me stay at her place, so all very much appreciated. It also means that I am going to call the stream in about a little under an hour, just because I do have a deadline. I got to go pick her up. So yeah, thank you, Chinho Wong. I think the thanks was implied, right? I think I called you a genius. I said, Chinho Wong, what a genius for reminding me to do that. Do you need the thank you as well? Is being called a genius not enough? But calling you a genius basically means, that's my way of saying thanks. So, what was I saying? Rubber fruit. Yeah, no, before that I was saying houses. Yeah, so I had to check houses, apartments. After this, tomorrow I got to drive 2 hours to another city, and then I'm spending the day there. And then the day after that, I got another flight to another city. So it's a bit expensive right now. So I'm trying to save as much money as I can on this little trip because, after this I'm going to have to drop deposits and stuff on an apartment. But it'll be worth it. I do want to just pick up and move to somewhere else. Anyway, back to the rubber fruit and the red line. So rubber fruit and the red line, I do think that at the very, very least, I do not want to see, even if the explanation is that, okay, the awakening is useful because the awakening allows for the world government to protect the red line, even if that does end up being the explanation, as long as Oda can kind of justify why the rubber fruit is so much more useful in that regard than other devil fruits, I'm on board with it. The one thing I would not like to see is if it turns out to be just an extremely powerful devil fruit, like a very combat-oriented reason, like it's actually just a very, very strong, powerful devil fruit that is useful for fighting. Vinicius Martin Silva says, Morge, are you rich? No, I am not rich. I'll say this little trip is doing quite the number on my bank account, but, it's fine. Like, I want to put in the investment to find a good place to stay, because otherwise you're signing a 12-month lease. And if you sign a 12-month lease, then it's just like, you really, really don't want to get it wrong, especially when I don't really know the cities that I'm visiting them for the first time. So gotta put in the time. I don't want to just sign up for a place far away that I never visit, Anthony Johnson, thanks a lot, says, do you like One Piece? I love One Piece. You don't even understand. Like, you don't know what love is unless you were able to look into my heart and see how much I loved One Piece. I love One Piece. I love it a lot. Paresh Blaze, thanks a lot. Hey, Morge, put this towards your new... Thank you, Paresh. That's not what I'm intending to spur here. So I'll stop talking about trying to find a new place. I just wanted to fill you in on what I'm doing this week. Silvers, thanks a lot. I can't pay for your house for one piece too, but here's something for a 20-piece chicken McNugget. Okay, I didn't mean to spur donations off of that. That's not. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm not rich, but I'm not broke. All right, so don't donate because you feel like you need to help me find an apartment. All right, I'm not like living day to day trying to like struggle to find money. I'm fine. All right, so don't donate with those purposes. Thank you very much, though. Appreciated. Last few people definitely appreciated. As for the red line. No, we're past the red line. Yeah, I just don't want it to be like, oh, well, the Gum Gum Devil Fruit's just really, really, really good because, other people have used gears and stuff in the past, and it's just an inherently really, really powerful combat fruit, like a top-tier Devil Fruit. Because I think part of the appeal is that it always felt like Luffy was taking a very simple fruit, the rubber fruit, and thinking of very creative uses for it. So that's the one thing I would not be happy about if it's just a very combat-oriented reason. Like the Awakening being logistically useful to protecting the red line, totally cool with that. The other thing is, I don't know if I would like it as much if the Devil Fruit turned out to be important because a significant figure from the past had also had this Gum Gum Fruit, right? So a Joy Boy, a Roger, something like that, or even a Rox, you know what I mean? So just because that's just maybe a more personal reason, I'm not as interested in that being the reason that the Gum Gum Fruit is important. It almost feels like a boring reason to me, and a little too, by the book, like, oh, Luffy has the same ability as Joy Boy from back then. It's just, what do I really get out of that? Does it make the story any better to me? Or, okay, I know Luffy is even more like Joy Boy from before. It just doesn't add anything, and if anything, it's kind of a little eye-rolly, if it's like Joy Boy had the Gum Gum Fruit, I think I would literally probably roll my eyes at that. Like, it wouldn't be like a bad thing, it's just kind of just a really uninteresting, overdone type of idea. And it just adds nothing, I think, to Luffy's story or his character. Justin Nolan, thanks a lot. What if Imu somehow couldn't encounter the potential use of the Gum Gum Fruit while being able to see the potential for other fruits? That is a cool idea, Justin. Is this the thought that you were keeping to yourself at the start of the stream? That's a cool idea. You should express your thoughts more often if that's what you were thinking about. It would be a little random that the Rubber Fruit is able to sort of evade Im's foresight, assuming that Im does have some sort of general foresight or something along those lines. But I don't think, at the very least, that inherently... Like, let me think about it a bit. So, the Rubber Fruit. Does the Rubber Fruit, in some sense, inherently imply that you can kind of, like, stretch or evade? I guess in some sort of interpretation, maybe you can stretch or evade, essentially, the abilities of Im's foresight? I don't know. I think I would also just like the fact that Luffy as a person is a very unpredictable person, and therefore he's able to sort of get around people's predictions. Logi Dogi, who are you? When did you become a mod? I have not seen your name in chat in a long, long time, to the point that I don't remember when you would have become a mod. Logi Dogi, you should not have shown your face, because I'm very suspicious of why you exist and how you managed to get a blue wrench next to your name. Did you kill another mod and then steal their identity? Is that what happened? Are you someone I modded who then changed their name on YouTube? Who the fuck is Logi Dogi? Logi Dogi, you better explain yourself. Happy birthday, Logi Dogi. Is it Logi Dogi's birthday? How do you guys know Logi Dogi to the point that you know it's his birthday and I've never heard of this person in my life? Devil Fruits are a serious superpower in the One Piece world, says Silvers. Yeah, dude, but like, they're pretty common. I got it legit, I promise, says Logi Dogi. That's what someone who killed another mod and stole their identity would say. Or maybe you legitimately think that's a legit route to getting mod. Cronin says Logi question mark? Who the fuck is Cronin? Where are these mods coming from? Where are my usual mods? Where are the names I know and love? Where's AJK? Where's Juan Perret? Where's the Pirate Hero? I saw the Pirate Hero earlier. I also mod for Randy Troy, says Logi Dogi. That doesn't help me, dude. So you're a Randy Troy mod who snuck in here? What is going on? Now I'm suspicious, says the Pirate Hero. Did I see Princess Taco, the Pirate Hero, the usual gang? Where's Alexander? Where's Strife? Who are these strangers? What is going on here? Where's Wisdom Minari? I feel so uncomfortable around these other people. I know who Silvers is. Don't worry about that. If that is the real Silvers. Sasaki misses. That's it. Just make me a mod. I'll fix this. Logi Dogi, I'll give you a pass. I believe that you belong here. I don't know why, but you belong here for whatever reason. I know Chin Ho Wong better than you. Chin Ho Wong was the genius that told me to like the stream. Chin Ho Wong's generally just been around. I recognize the name Chin Ho Wong. Jinwoo Wong's here actually pretty regularly. Edward Rahman says, would you consider moving to Austin? Why or why not? Edward Rahman, what if I told you that I have a... No, actually, I'm not... Okay, I'm not going to share whatsoever with... That was almost pretty bad. Not that I think you guys would do anything suspicious, but I do think that, among the number of subscribers I have, even if 0.0001% of you are just a crazy person or something like that, I would rather not reveal where I live or the areas that I'm interested in moving to. That's all I'll say. Not because I'm sure that 99% of you are excellent people who I'd be happy to meet in real life, but you just never know. That's all I'm saying. Peter Story says party at Morge's house. Yeah, if I ever just go crazy and I'm just like, fuck it, I'll meet all my subscribers at once. I will drop my address and everyone can show up. Everyone, a lot of people are volunteering to be mods right now. Tony96049 says I'll kick him. Morge living on Raft Hill. See, other people say Raft Hill. This came up, I think last stream. People were like, why don't you say Laugh Hill, Morge? Why don't you say Laugh Hill? That's the actual name. And the pirate here says, would we want to meet you, though? Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm the crazy one, and you guys shouldn't meet me. Who knows? That's a good point, the pirate hero. Maybe I show up, and, I don't know, I'm just try to, pickpocket you guys or something like that. I don't know, you don't know me. Yeah, if the raid fails, then all bets are off. If the raid fails, I'll drop my address. Maybe I'll rent out a huge boat or something like that, and there'll just be a giant Morge celebration party. That's if the raid fails. But, we're talking about just regular circumstances. No, probably not dropping any sort of address-related information. I was uncomfortable for a while. I told you guys last stream, even just knowing that you guys are on the East Coast. But, I got over that. I think you guys have known I'm on the East Coast for a bit, and no one has come to, stab me in the middle of the night, so I think we're all good. Teddy says Sanji's the grandson of Dr. Vegapunk. I don't know. So you're saying that... Hold on. So Sanji's the grandson of Dr. Vegapunk. So Vegapunk would be Judge's father. I don't know about that. I don't think I would like that personally. Franco Beccari says, do you study something? I mean, in college I was government politics major. If that matters. Government politics, film minor... That's basically it. Now I guess I study One Piece for what that's worth. So, CM says East Coast, Best Coast. I've lived in the East Coast for a while. I don't know if that's the case. Princess Taco says, if the raid fails, will you finally Bollywood dance? That's a no. You will never see me dancing. I guarantee you that. You will literally never see me dance. That's never going to happen. Vegapunk, I don't know. Supreme says, what's Yamato's Devil Fruit? I think Yamato's Devil Fruit... super duper unique theory. I think Yamato's Devil Fruit is the white tiger. It just makes sense. Oda's playing so many things close to the actual mythology and lore behind it. Logi Dogi, Midwest Coast greater than... Get out of here, Logi Dogi. I don't even know who you are. I don't need to take directions from you as to where I should be living. We're going to probably do the opposite of whatever Logi Dogi tells me, just because I have so little trust in who Logi Dogi is. I need to find out which mod Logi Dogi killed. It might be Strife. Logi Dogi might have killed Strife and just taken his wrench. Strife hasn't shown up in a bit. I think since I moved from Sundays to Mondays, I haven't seen Strife, which is, Dave Jones specifically requested, yo, please unmod this man. Huggy Guggy says, I'm going to keep asking the same questions until you answer me. All right, Huggy Guggy, what did you ask last? What was the question? I don't see you anywhere in chat, Huggy Guggy, so I don't know what you're... Oh, wait, no, I found you. What part of the info dump are you most excited for? The Reverie, the Warlord situation, or something else? Are you talking about the info dump, essentially, that we expect to happen after the end of Act 3? I think what I'm most... it depends what you're talking about in terms of the info dump. I think the Reverie, what happened at the Reverie is what I'm most... I think in order, what happened at the Reverie, then what happened to the Warlords, then what Blackbeard is up to, and if it's related to Whole Cake Island. I think those are the three things that I'm most interested in. What happened at the Reverie is such a, that's such a tease. Oda is obviously going to drop that information soon, but he's really, really holding on to that because he really knows how much we want that. Casper's Cookless, thanks a lot. Maybe it's immunity to lightning. It is special because King's Haki control weather and maybe lightning. Enel Shiki just foreshadows this power. Yeah, maybe that's the significance of it, but I think that, you know, I mean, what does that even mean? Like, if you have the barrier fruit, then you're immune to, like, there's so many other ways, so many other fruits that can deal with lightning, and lightning's not just like this ever-present problem in One Piece. Like, sure, a King's Haki user, it seems like it's potentially, not even confirmed, potentially can control weather and maybe lightning. But is it such a big deal that the world government's like, well, that's our biggest fear. We're just worried about, the bad weather and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case. I feel like it would have to be a significantly bigger deal than just the weather, essentially, for the rubber fruit to be really important. Unless we found out that Uranus is just absolute control over the skies and it can just rain lightning down from the heavens on a much larger scale than what Enel's fruit can do. If that's the case, if it is Uranus related, then I could see rubber being really important. But at the same time, I think I was very happy with how Luffy's rubber fruit counteracted Enel, because that was just, that was earlier in the series. Enel's ability was clearly way out of Luffy's league, but Luffy was able to deal with it because he happened to be a natural counter. I don't think I would like if it's the final battle and Luffy just happens to be, the final villain's abilities have no effect on him. If it's Im wielding Uranus or something, I don't think I would really like if, Im just can't fight Luffy at all because Luffy's impervious to lightning. I think that would just feel a little anticlimactic. We already get a bit of that with Kaido not being able to affect Luffy with lightning, but Kaido's abilities really are, lightning's a small sliver of everything Kaido can do, so it's not exactly the same. Rubber weapons, rubber weapons are, by the way, worse than normal weapons. Terry Martin says, dislike gang. I mean, what would happen if you guys disliked the stream a bunch? I don't know if anything, does that affect me that much? Yeah, you guys can feel free to dislike if you want. Let's see what happens. All right, let's see if we get the dislikes to as high as the likes. I think that'll be funny. So, guys, okay, go dislike the stream. I can't actually see the dislikes. I can see how many likes the stream gets. I can't actually see the dislikes. So maybe I'll open that up in another tab to check it out. Sahajan Nayak, thanks a lot. Everyone go dislike the stream. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get the likes to even out with the dislikes. And then anyone coming in will just be really confused. I'm going to open up the stream with another tab. All right. I hope you guys do this justice. Wait, how do I find my own stream? How'd you guys find this stream? I can't even find the stream. How are you guys even here? I can't find the stream at all. How'd you guys find this place? I literally am looking up One Piece Mord stream, and I'm just finding old videos of myself. What is this? Do I literally have to search? How'd you guys get here? How am I not able to find this stream and you guys are just here? This is very suspicious. Did my stream just end or something like that? What is going on? How'd you guys find this place? Could someone drop me a link to this stream? Maybe it's being disliked so much that I can't find it anymore. Wait, no, the likes are going away. You guys are taking away the like. Oh no, I messed up so bad. I messed up so bad. I forgot that it probably affects the visibility of the stream if you dislike it a bunch. Alright, we need to cancel it out. Nuke the project. Go back to the likes. I see the likes going back up. This was a bad idea. Bad idea. I feel like someone should have been able to tell me that this was a bad idea much earlier. I feel like it was actually a really straightforward situation where we should have been able to tell that it's a bad idea from the start. It definitely just is not in my recommended or anything like that. I literally can't find the stream. Let me give it one more shot. Okay. Now it's back up in the main page for me. I think we actually... Okay, so... Good news, we were successfully able to get a lot of dislikes in there. The bad news is that has no productive value for the stream whatsoever and probably makes it more difficult to find. Yeah, 28 dislikes is what we're down to. The Pioneer says, some are ride and die, but if you lose Cloud, I'm out. Yeah, without Cloud, I'm nothing. Why would anyone even watch me at that point? Thanks for the links, guys. Don't worry, I was able to find the stream. Yeah, my channel's just shadow hidden because it got too many likes. Yeah, this was a bad experiment. So what did we learn? We learned that likes are good for stream visibility and dislikes are bad. So it was a productive experiment in that we learned something. And, there's no bad experiments, I suppose. But at the same time, we'll just never do it again. No, I'm not high. I might just be a little tired. I saw between today and yesterday, I've seen 6 houses. I guess that doesn't sound like a lot, but I did also have to travel through the city quite a bit and kind of find out more. Loki Dogi, wow, actually making his, showing his value as a mod. Loki Dogi says like and subscribe. Chinho Wong, how does it feel to be one-upped by Loki Dogi? This is why Loki Dogi has a wrench next to his name and you do not. Like and subscribe. What a message. Some of y'all are just liking, and I'm an idiot. I didn't think to say subscribe either, but Loki Dogi coming in with the suggestions to like and subscribe. Brilliant. Why didn't I think of it? Guys, like and subscribe. And if you can only do one, Loki Dogi, what is going on? Loki Dogi showing himself as the ideal mod, coming out of hiding for probably 2 years and basically saying don't spam. So the last 2 Loki Dogi comments have been like and subscribe, golden comment, excellent ideas, like and subscribe. Both those things are good. Chinho Wong, I'm taking back your status as genius. Loki Dogi has one-upped you by basically doubling your suggestion, like and subscribe. So Chinho Wong, no longer a genius in my eyes. I've actually lost a tremendous amount of respect for him. Loki Dogi respect went off the charts. And Loki Dogi saying, don't spam. So, how much better does it get? This is the new vision of an ideal mod. I have completely changed my mind. Total 180 on Loki Dogi. So, everyone treat Loki Dogi as a legit mod, not some weird backstabbing, mod thief. Terry Martin, thanks a lot. Do you think Usopp hearing the Mary's voice was the first instance of him using observation hockey? Dislike and subscribe, says Terry Martin. Thanks, Terry. No, I don't think that that was the first case because everyone in the Straw Hat crew, I believe, was able to hear the Going Merry, right? So everyone was able to hear Going Merry during the, the Going Merry death scene. So in that case, that would suggest that it was not just Usopp, and I don't think it was really related to observation hockey. It was more so just the fact that, one, Usopp had a stronger connection to the ship than anybody else, right? So Usopp had the strongest connection to the ship that had been played out many times throughout the series. Also, real quick, side note, I think that Usopp's relationship to the ship is one of the best, most subtle sort of, I think, character quirks or character personality aspects that Oda played up throughout the series because you could very, very easily imagine a scenario where we get to Enies Lobby, Water 7 arc starts, right, and we're told that the Going Merry has to go away, and then Usopp's making a big deal out of it, and this is the first time that it's really expressed that Usopp cares the most about the Going Merry, right? That could very easily have been the case, but Oda really, really did, not in an obnoxious way or a forced way or a way that it became really clear or a way that was really obvious that Usopp would be very upset if the Going Merry were to go away, but throughout the series he did play up very regularly that just in lots of minor little scenarios, if the ship gets damaged a little bit because of the Laboon incident or something, or what's going on with the ship traveling to Skypiea, and just little nicks and scratches and situations that come up here and there, Oda did slip in regularly that Usopp tended to be the most quick to be concerned about the ship. Usopp would most regularly comment just offhand about the ship, and it was just never that overt or anything like that, that it was just right in front of our faces that, oh man, if the Going Merry were to be destroyed, then Usopp would be devastated and it would affect him way more than the rest of the crew. But Oda did slip that in regularly to the point that it felt very natural when it was time for the Going Merry to be retired that Usopp made the biggest deal out of it, right? Oda could have easily just been okay, Usopp's arc was the arc where they picked up the Going Merry, Usopp has that connection to Kaya, right? So therefore I can kind of just leave it alone, and then by the time it's time for the Going Merry to go away, then obviously it'll make sense for Usopp to be really upset about it. But no, Oda did make sure to pay attention to just very, subtle little bits of making sure that Usopp's connection to the Going Merry was regularly reminded to us, but without ever making it too blatant or making that something that he really talked about all the time. Why are people saying K? What are you guys saying okay about? You guys bored about me talking about Usopp? I can talk about something else. I can make fun of Loki Dogi again. Loki Dogi is making fun of Chin. Is he making fun of Chinho Wong? Loki Dogi, just because I've given you props doesn't give you the right to make fun of Chinho Wong. That's my job. More treat super chats. What super chat? What did I miss? Did I miss one? I don't think I missed one. I'm scrolling, guys. I did no. The last one was Terry Martin. I think I'm fine unless there's so much lag that there's some super chats that I'm missing. I don't think I've missed anything. If there's a super chat I've missed, let me know. Truth be told, says talk about Momo. So Momo is just a black box at the moment. I think at the very least, Momo's situation, no matter what, how important Momo is to the world, I don't like people saying that Momo's Uranus just because I think that takes away a little... It feels a little bit weird to me if two of the ancient weapons are people and then one is a ship. I think the unique aspect of Princess Shirahoshi being an ancient weapon despite being like a living, breathing person, I think that is a unique little twist on the idea of what a weapon can be. But it just feels a little odd if it's like two out of the three weapons are actual people and then one of them is just randomly a ship. That makes it almost like more like you wouldn't even phrase it as ancient weapons. You would phrase it as two destined people. Oh, and there's one ancient weapon, right? So it just feels a little off to me. Nintendo Power thinks a lot. If Who's Who is an inside man for CP0, an informant with Sabachu or similar to X-Drake, Kaido's crew would have a lot of holes in its chain of custody. Okay, so let me bring up a theory that I saw on Twitter. So not on Twitter. I think on Reddit. So I saw this on Reddit. So someone linked this theory to me, and it's a Reddit theory, and I think it's a really good theory. I think you can go check it out. It might still be on its front page, but I mean, I'm not really alerted to Reddit theories unless someone actually links it to me. But this one, and very often they tend to be like, I don't really buy it or something like that. So I'm not interested in reading everyone's little theories here and there just because lots of times I personally just don't agree with them. But this one was really interesting. Someone on Reddit pointed out, not my theory, this is something I've read, that Who's Who could very well be a spy for Blackbeard because the time that Who's Who, in theory, was able to escape from Impel Down, so not necessarily an inside man for CP0, but the time that he was able to escape from Impel Down may have been the same point that Blackbeard released all of the prisoners there, right? So if Blackbeard released all of the prisoners there, and that was how Who's Who was able to get out, and Blackbeard basically assigned him to become an informant for him for the Beast Pirates, then that would make a lot of sense. I don't agree with the idea that Who's Who would be the 10th giant captain, though, as this Reddit theory proposed, simply because, the 10th giant captain sounds like a known entity, like a public figure in the One Piece world, so therefore it wouldn't really make sense if this was actually just a spy on a different crew, right? But still, overall, I like the idea that maybe he's an informant for Blackbeard Pirates. Salted Banana, thanks a lot. Could an awakened Gomu Gomu user make the ground rubber counter Whitebeard's Guruguru? Maybe that's what the world government wanted. Yeah, so that's an idea that I talked about in my video, the end of One Piece solved, right? So that was a big point that I made, that basically the Guruguru no Mi, it could be very useful in destroying the Red Line to create the One Piece, but it makes sense as a setup if Luffy's Rubber Awakening is used to counter that. So that could make for a really good standoff between Luffy and Blackbeard at the center of the world, right? The spot where there's like a giant X traveling through the world where the One Piece is, where one pirate, Blackbeard, is trying to destroy the Red Line with the Guruguru no Mi, and the other pirate, Luffy, is able to counter that and be the only person to stop him. So I've talked about that before in the end of One Piece. It does play into the idea that people are bringing up now that maybe, that's why the world government wanted the Rubber Devil Fruit in the first place, to be able to stop that from happening. The one thing I will say is that I would have preferred, if that is the reason for the protection of the Red Line, then I think that I personally would have preferred it to not have been hinted at in the first place that the Rubber Devil Fruit could protect the Red Line. I think it would have personally have been a cooler moment if we're at the final showdown, it's Luffy versus Blackbeard at the Red Line, Blackbeard tries to destroy the Red Line with his Guruguru no Mi, and Luffy in that process is able to surprise us all by turning the Red Line into rubber, and at that moment it would be kind of the click, sort of like the realization that Luffy is the one person who could actually stop Blackbeard from doing this. You know what I mean? So if it was a bit more of a, like in this case, if we just find out that the Red Line is valuable to the world government because it can the Gomu Gomu no Mi is valuable to the world government because it can turn the Red Line into rubber, I do think that takes away a little bit, if that is the case, if that's discovered to be the case, I think that takes away a little bit from the potential moment of like Luffy actually doing that and turning the Red Line into rubber. I think it would be cooler if that's kind of a surprise if we see, that's how Luffy decides to use the Awakening ability and it comes into great use at a very crucial moment in the story, and we don't really see that coming. Whereas at this point, it will be a little bit more of a, by the numbers, kind of expected that Luffy at some point will do that. You know what I mean? Travis Clark, thanks a lot. What are your thoughts on the idea that the Gomu Gomu no was the ideal for... Wait, no, we just answered that. Did I skip one? Maybe I didn't. Mirror Cluck, thanks a lot. Thanks for the One Piece analysis videos, Mr. Morge. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the support. F. Negosi, thanks a lot. Answer Travis Clark. Angel says, missed my super chat. What did I miss? What did you say? Let me see if I can find Angel. Nintendo Power says, do you think Uranus is related to the machines that Enel found on the moon and that his devil fruit was sought out by the world government for that reason? Do you think Uranus is related to the machines that Enel found on the moon and that his devil fruit was sought out by the world government? I don't know. So we have that image. We have that image of Enel staring at the hieroglyphics on the moon. And to me, what it seemed like was that Uranus seemed more like a sun in the sky, right? Because we saw the Sea Kings, we saw the ship, which was Pluton, or implied to be Pluton. Can a mod tell me what Angel's comet was? Can some mod find the Angel comet? Because I'm having trouble finding it at the moment. If someone can and just like mention what that was to me, that'd be very useful. Thank you. So, I think at the very least with... the Uranus, it seemed more so like Uranus was that circle we saw in the sky, the ship was very possibly Pluton, and then the Sea Kings were in the sea, and that rounds out the three ancient weapons, essentially. So that's kind of my assumption, basically, as to what Uranus is. So I guess in a sense it would be related to that, but I'm not 100% sure. Joshua Mewis, thank you very much, appreciate it. Did someone find Angel's comment? Super Chat missed a Pirate Hero. How am I fine? Super Chat just... Okay, sorry Pirate Hero. Maybe there's a bit of lag on my end or something like that, but Pirate Hero, could you please... you just comment your comment again. I'll be able to see it. You got a blue wrench. And if some other mod can find Angel's Super Chat, I will happily answer that question. Dracula Law, in the meantime, what do you think about the Gomu Gomu being the original devil fruit? I would really, really personally not like that. Again, I'm down for the idea that... the Gomu Gomu no Mi is useful for some special logistical purpose, like it happens to be a really good fruit, for example, for protecting the red line. I'm cool with that. But I don't think that I would like it if it's like so special that it's like the original devil fruit or something along those lines. Okay, the Pirate Hero says, I asked how you felt about the Zoro mink medicine. Well then, can someone just be on the lookout for when Angel pops up and asks... Angel, can you repeat the question in chat again, and then can Ahmad mention what the question was? And I think that will be able to... That way we'll be able to get that answered. So Angel, just repeat what question you super chatted, and I'll answer it when Ahmad points it out to me, or if I see it myself. The Pirate Hero, thanks a lot. I asked how do you felt about the Zoro mink medicine. So, Zoro mink medicine, I'm down for that just because the Zoro mink medicine, if you go back to early on in Zou, luckily, someone had happened to have posted this on Twitter a little bit ago. So it was already making the rounds on Twitter before the chapter dropped, which was that there was a drug, or not a drug, the minks hinted at an ability that they had. It was hinted at early in Zou. I think even Zoro was the one who even brought it up in Zou, which was like, oh, is it just me, or do the minks, heal much faster than you would expect? I think that, at the very least, it was there, right? So it was planted that the minks had a way to heal fast, basically. So that idea was already planted. So we know that... Okay, so Jason Cordona says chapter 814. Yeah, there we go. So it's good that it was making the rounds on Twitter because I had personally forgotten about that. So if I just read the chapter blank, like chapter 1017 blank, and been like, oh, there's some drug that healed Zoro, I would have been like, that seems kind of random and forced. Not even random and forced, that just seems like dumb and like written out of thin air, basically. But because it was planted earlier, and if you're an astute reader and you kind of remember that, maybe if I'd reread Zou, then I would have had it in my memory, that there is some hint that the minks were able to heal fast, then, I'm down for it. It does feel like a little bit like maybe Oda could have dropped a hint one more time or something like that, similar to, I think Oda gave us 2 hints about the moon situation, I think maybe 3 hints about the moon situation before we got Sulong. So astute readers were already on the lookout for basically something like a Sulong S power up, basically, right? So people were looking for those for that sort of delivery on the Sulong effect. So the Minx, the drug aspect, sure, Oda didn't really play that up nearly as much. We got one mention of it though, but it's there. So I think it's not bad. I think everybody was kind of on board for Marco being the one to really help out there, because we just felt, I think the setup for that was, it just feels so simple. Like Marco tags out of the King fight and then Zoro tags in, and Marco uses the last of his ability to heal. But maybe Oda doesn't want to play up Marco's healing abilities as much if Marco is that tired out. So maybe it would seem like too much of a stretch if Marco at the end of his rope is all tired, has used his Phoenix abilities for a while, but is still able to heal up someone like Zoro to 100% health. And I think the fact that there's the double down pain aspect of it that Oda probably wants to bring into play as well, that Zoro's going to have to experience double the pain after all this. So maybe that's why the drug works better. Although in that case, why weren't the Minx twice as injured after that drug? Maybe that's necessarily not the effect of the drug itself, just the fact that like Zoro's so damaged and taking an accelerated healing drug at the point of damage that he's at would lead to double the damage for him, or double the pain for him afterwards. I'm not sure. Anyone got a good reason for why the Minx weren't in twice as much pain when we were seeing them in Zou, if they'd been using the healing serum? Aslan, thanks a lot. Do you think Kaido's jealous of Joy Boy, and that another way of proving his greatness is by taking down the greatest figure in history, and Luffy wasn't strong enough to be Joy Boy? I think that's an interesting idea. I think Kaido in general is obsessed with the idea of characters who are able to get great or famous or grand sort of deaths. Die in a grand special way. Joy Boy, I don't know, maybe Kaido was able to come across a certain level. Joy Boy, in fact, I mean, in one aspect, Joy Boy is forgotten by history, right? Because we just recently found out that he even existed. But in the other aspect, you could think of it as, well, if Joy Boy is the one who began essentially the entire Will of D, if there's so many people in the world that are actually chasing after his legacy, trying to get to the bottom of the Will of D, if he essentially did the way he died or what he did in his death maybe led to a lot of the characters in the world taking the actions they are today, then in a way Joy Boy maybe did leave a grand legacy. Because if you consider that, well, what if the entire Will of D stems from Joy Boy and the way that he went out, then yeah, maybe Joy Boy actually possibly even beats out Gold Roger in terms of most impactful deaths in history of the world. So maybe if that's the case, then Kaido would have some sort of obsession with Joy Boy, or wanting to find the next Joy Boy and defeat him or something along those lines. But I think we know too little to say, so that's just kind of a wild speculation if, I had to pick something. Mugiwara Luffy, thanks a lot. Did I miss something in the manga? Because I've never seen who say he was specifically arrested for losing the Gomu Gomu. Is that not what was said at the end of chapter 1017? Anyone want to correct me on that? So, I mean, I think the final page of chapter 1017 does say that Who was thrown in prison for failing to protect the Gomu Gomu no Mi. I think that's explicitly what it says, unless I'm wrong. Jordan Taylor, thanks a lot. Im wants the Gomu Gomu to use Gear 3rd and make his third sword super big. Jordan Taylor, thank you for throwing away $5 to let that be known. I don't know if that's what Im wants it to be, but, who can say for sure. Nintendo Power, thanks a lot. Pluton could be hidden in the Florian Triangle, and the beings we saw at the end of Thriller Bark were compelled to protect it by Joy Boy. I am still on the boat. I'm not as adamant as I used to be about this. I'm still personally on the boat that the beings in Thriller Bark the intent was to leave those simply as a mystery, one of those simple, unsolved mysteries of the One Piece world, going along with the idea of, the horror movie vibes that surrounded Thriller Bark, that this is just, it's just Oda playing into a trope, essentially, right? That, there's just some crazy unsolved mysteries in the One Piece world and that aren't essentially meant to be solved. Because it's entirely possible it's just not important what's in the Florian Triangle. It's just a fun little way of Oda ending that arc, but there's still some spooky stuff out there, That's where I'm still on board with. I think I would prefer the Florian Triangle to remain just a random little throwaway mystery that Oda drops into the story, going along with the trend of that arc. Did anyone find Angel's super chat? Angel, were you able to drop your super chat again? Was Angel able to drop a super chat again? Maybe not. Hey, someone named Don't Ban Me says, do you think all 3 devil fruits are connected, like Lost Fruit, Guru Guru no Mi? Wait, what happened to Don't Ban Me's comment? Where'd it go? Why'd I lose it? Did someone ban him despite him specifically asking for that not to happen? Where'd Don't Ban Me go? Maybe Don't Ban Me was erased from history. The pirate here says, I think his super chat was a joke that you missed his super chat. Well, then he got all of us because he basically, you did basically derail the stream for a hot 10 minutes. Joshua Muis, I don't know how to say your name. Why do you think Luffy's fruit is important? So we've been over this a little bit. I think the options, in my mind, come down to protecting the red line, it being very strong for combat, which I don't like, and then third, it just belonging to an important figure from history, so the world government caring about it in that sense. Okay, I don't know if I love any of those options. If I had to pick one, I think I would go with the red line as being, if I gotta pick one of the options, I think I'd go with the red line just because I like it the most and it fits in with my own beliefs about how the interactions towards the end of the series and the final battle will be, particularly between the Guru Guru no Mi and the Gomu Gomu no Mi. I've talked about this in my End of One Piece solved video in the past, so it fits that stuff. I think I just don't like if that's necessarily... I personally would have always preferred if that interaction were to have happened, like the Rubber Awakening preventing the Red Line from being destroyed by Blackbeard's Guru Guru no Mi. If that interaction were to have happened, for that to have been a more spontaneous moment where Luffy is able to, as usual, use his Rubber Devil Fruit in a creative way to basically prevent the creation of One Piece by a different pirate, right? Rather than it actually being like a set-up, well-known interaction that the world government has been thinking about for a long time. Like if the Guru Guru no Mi were to be used against the Red Line, well, it can be stopped with the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Kind of like an already talked-about interaction. I would have rather seen that interaction happen organically, basically in the spur of the moment, right? Luffy using his awakening as the perfect counter for the Guru Guru no Mi in a spur of the moment situation, kind of a clutch sort of use of it. So that's my only thoughts on it. Also, I don't know if the rubber fruit is necessarily, like, logically, if you think through all the devil fruits, is it a bit of a stretch to say that the rubber devil fruit is the best one suited to protecting the red line, right? Is Oda really going to have to convince us of that? So, I mean, like, I don't think it's not a great fruit for protecting the red line. I'm just thinking that, is it really the best, though? If I really went through the list of devil fruits out there, is Oda really going to be able to convince me that the gum gum fruit is just the perfect one? It just makes sense as the perfect one to stop any sort of damage to the red line. That's all I'm saying. But I'm down for that if that's just the reason that Oda's going for. Alpha Moon, thanks a lot. Pluton or Uranus could be in the moon. I think Pluton is somewhere in the world, because I do believe it'll be acquired by some rival group, and I don't think some rival group is going to make it to the moon necessarily. So by rival group, I mean either the Blackbeard Pirates or the world government. I believe that they could acquire Pluton. So along those lines, I think Poseidon, we know where it is. I think Pluton is probably safely on Earth. Uranus being on the moon, I mean, I expect the Straw Hats to go to the moon. So if Uranus is on the moon, I don't think they necessarily pick up Uranus, but I do think that would the moon be a little bit of a crowded place if everyone's able to make it up there? You know, like if the Straw Hats get there to find out the secrets of the world or something, but then also, like, I don't know, the world government's able to get up there to get Uranus. I don't know, I think Uranus might just be a known entity already that someone has. Miriam, the best subscriber. I did not know that you were my best subscriber. It is, kind of a bit of a revelation for me to find out. I didn't know I had a best subscriber, but I kind of just got to take your word for it, huh? Hi, Mr. Morange, just popped in to say you're awesome. Thank you very much. I'm not up to date with the manga because I like to binge read, but glad to see you do these chapter updates. Okay, thank you, Miriam, but you better get out of here real quick because there's going to be a lot of spoilers soon. Appreciate it. Enel versus Luffy on the moon. How much of a joke would that be? Luffy right now versus Enel? What? I think there are several Straw Hats who could take care of Enel no problem on the Straw Hat crew right now. So Luffy, Enel's hard counter, taking him on right now, that would be a joke. Luffy would wipe the floor with Enel. He would use him as a mop. It would be ridiculous. It would be one of the biggest stomps in series history. Dave Jones says, I thought I was the best sub. Well, I don't know, Dave. It's not in your name. Miriam has it in her name, so I think it's hard to say. Oh, Don't Ban Me is back. No one banned him. All right, everyone listen up close. He says, do you think all three Devil Fruits are connected, like Lost Fruit, Shambler's, or Soul into some One Piece character, and Bonnie's Fruit takes them into their prime, and Gom Gom Fruit somewhere in between? So I've thought about some stuff in the past, like is there some cool combination you could get out of, say, Big Mom's Fruit and Moria's Fruit? Like, in theory, they're very different purposes, right? But Um, Trust in Jesus is only Sanji, Zoro, and Jinbei can beat NL. Let me think on that for a sec. I would throw in... I think if Frankie had prep time, like he prepped some stuff specifically to fight against NL, Frankie could do it. Because we just saw, for example, Kid using his Punk Rotten form to be able to block lightning attacks, right? So we know that the proper metal shielding and stuff like that can protect you. So I'd throw Frankie into that conversation as well. If Frankie had Sea Stone, which shouldn't really be that far out of the question for him, like it's so readily available in Wano, I think Frankie takes NL no problem. But besides that, maybe Red. But anyway, I was saying, like, I think that's, yeah, maybe there's some cool combinations that we're not thinking of. So maybe, like, for example, Bonnie's Devil Fruit aging you down to your prime, right? Bonnie's Devil Fruit aging you down to your prime, and then Lost Fruit giving you immortality. That's a cool combination. I do wonder if Moria's Fruit and Big Mom's Fruit, if there's a cool combination to be found there. I mean, they do very similar things, but also to different, like, Moria's Fruit is for bringing inanimate objects to life. Moria's Fruit is for bringing dead people back to life, right? But with different shadows, souls, essentially, inside them. Big Mom brings inanimate objects and also animals, human souls, essentially. So, two very different things, but I don't really know. Joey Jojo, thanks a lot. I wonder, hey guys, quick question. So, Big Mom is able to infuse animals, for example, the rabbit. What is the rabbit's name? I don't remember the rabbit's name. The rabbit that Carrot took out? The rabbit that we were all hyped for initially? She was able to give that rabbit soul, right? Would Big Mom be able to do that to Chopper? Because Chopper is still technically a reindeer, he's not a human. So Big Mom can't she can't turn humans into homies as far as we know. But she did make that rabbit a homie. Randolph. She did make Randolph a homie. So could she make Chopper a homie? I don't know. Joey Jojo, thanks a lot. I love your name, Joey Jojo. It's one of my favorite names. I just got here, lol. I just wanted to make sure someone reminded you of the CP9 cover story where they got chased by the Marines. Guys, for the record, I did not forget about Princess Daka's paying a weekly tribute. Thanks a lot. What CP number are we mods? You're all CP1 right now, but you can work your way up. I promise I did not forget your super chat, Princess Daka. I did see it. Let me answer Aslan's question real bit quick before going back to Joey Jojo's, just because this is a little more in-depth. Shonen fights I want to see from all series. Never mind, Aslan's question is way more in-depth. I'll get to you in a second, Aslan. Guys, I do know about the CP0 cover story. I like going back and reading the cover stories from time to time. CP0 cover story, I know in the chapter review I kind of I did the joke of Lucci got off scot-free and Who's Who got into so much trouble for, Lucci clearly screwed up way more, right? But at the end of the day, Lucci still ended up getting promoted to CP0, right? Whereas Who's Who ended up getting I guess he ended up having to go down the dark route of ending up with the freaking Beast Pirates. So it's more so for joke purposes. I didn't remember specifically that CP9 was hunted, but I remember everything that happened in their backstory, essentially that they had to kind of turn tricks in the street to make money. They were not welcomed back with open arms to the world government. And I do remember them essentially having to fight for their lives by the end of it, right? So CP9, I know for a fact, yeah, Lucci did technically lose his job for a while. I'm just saying it's funny that he did ultimately end up, they just took him back and he got promoted to world government's, tippy-top level. He actually got a promotion, right? So he's in CP0 now. As opposed to Who's Who for a much smaller screw-up was sent to jail and never really got back in the world government's good graces. So I do think Lucci must have done something during the time skip to essentially get back into the into the good circle, essentially, of the Celestial Dragon in particular. Propo DLC, thanks a lot. Kaido likes to break the wills of his opponent. Maybe he wants to break Joy Boy in the will of D. Maybe Kaido wants to break the will of D. That's a cool idea, Propo. Maybe resents that Rocks was erased from history. That's an interesting idea, but breaking the will of D, that's a very vague idea, I think. It's an abstract idea because we don't understand that much about it. But it is cool to think about, maybe Kaido wants to break the biggest will in history. Oh, AJK's here. Thanks a lot, AJK. It's always good to see you in chat. Mod Asif Sheik says Marco's bounty prediction. I'll give you that in a second. Yeah, that would be interesting if Kaido wants to break the will of D. I would like to see more of Kaido trying to break people's wills over the course of this arc, this battle, if it is the final battle. Just because, they talk about that a lot, but they talk about it, but they don't be about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's basically, Kaido hasn't done that much to try. Like, it's not like I feel like, oh, Kaido's like, I think I need to see a little bit more. Like, we know that's the way his crew is structured, that he's broken people's wills, but I think it's a lot of talk that Kaido breaks people's wills. I think I need to see a little more of that in action, basically, to feel like that's what differentiates Kaido from past villains, that he's very specifically interested in breaking characters' wills, because we just hear a lot of like, oh, Kaido likes to break people's spirits, but I want to kind of see it a little bit more. You know what I mean? But if that is his grander goal, that is really interesting. So Marco's Bounty. Marco's Bounty has already been revealed. This is Cronin, the other questionable mod who I don't remember modding. I don't know about Marco's Bounty. I think I saw somewhere on Twitter a rumor that it is basically somewhere between 1 bill and 2 bill, and that just sounds about right. Marco's Bounty, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's less than King's Bounty. We should all know at this point that bounties are not purely about strength, right? They're about more than that. Like, we should not have question marks about Marco, right? His strength at this point. We already saw him holding off King and Queen at the same time. I don't think finding out that he has a lower bounty than them should suddenly make you guys reconsider, like, oh, Marco's not strong enough or something, right? So, like, what does it really matter at this point? Marco's Bounty, yeah, probably maybe like 1.3 bill, that's what people are throwing out. I think, I forgot about Aslan's question. Sorry, Aslan. All right, let me get to you. Sorry, Aslan. Yeah, I think I gave my take on Marco's Bounty, so it's not a big deal. Shonen fights that I want to see from all series. Okay, so One Piece. Okay, let's see. One Piece, very simple. Luffy versus Kaido. That's the big one, right? Luffy versus Kaido, I guess Zoro versus King, probably. That's what's in store for him. I just want to see off the fights that we have lined up, essentially, particularly from the Straw Hats, right, against the Beast Pirates. I don't think I have to go too much more in depth in there, right? Like, I want to see Sanji versus Queen, I want to see Frankie versus Sasaki, Robin and Brook versus Black Maria, all those fights, right? Kid and Law versus Big Mom, I'm even interested in that. I'm not quite as interested, though, just because it feels like such a random fight setup to me, I guess. Like, Big Mom does, I don't know. Luckily, if the raid fills, then all of these things can be, we don't have to see King and, like, I think Luffy should ultimately take down Big Mom. So, there's that. Other shonen series, so right now, okay, I'm not going to talk about Chainsaw Man here. I'm not going to talk about Chainsaw Man here just because I am considering doing a reaction to the trailer. I've deliberately not watched the trailer to kind of save a reaction potentially for the channel. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just watch the trailer anyway. I don't know how much I care about doing a reaction to the channel. But I might do... Chainsaw Man content is back on the table because the hype train of Chainsaw Man has swelled, which means that now maybe it's just a good idea for the channel to do, right? So all along I've wanted to do Chainsaw Man content. For a little bit of time, it was actually killing the channel because the views were so bad and it brought down the averages, and you guys don't know how the YouTube algorithm works, but it's just bad if you have a certain type of content that's hurting your average viewership and just destroying your channel. So I unfortunately had to let that baby go, but now there is potential in Chainsaw Man content. So I'm considering holding out on the trailer just so that I can watch it and give you guys a little reaction, but maybe I don't do that. So Chainsaw Man I'll leave off the table. There are certain fights that I want to watch in the Chainsaw Man anime that I won't talk about. Black Clover, which is the other shonen series that I really like right now. I think I really want to see basically Dante versus... No, I don't care about Dante. I want to see the Lucifera fight. So Lucifera fight, I think it will be Yami and Asta it'll come down to with Lucifera, just because I think that that's the direction the series is headed. I could clarify a bit more, but I feel like there's not a lot of Black Clover viewers here. But I do think that certain fights are just sort of set up for them to be like mentor and trainee sort of fights. So like Yami and Asta, Yuno and Vengeance, Noelle and maybe even Laura Pechka, maybe. So I think that there's certain fights that are possibly set up like that. Actually, Laura Pechka is not really a fighter. So I don't know. I'm not going to go into Black Clover much because like people don't really care about it. I don't think as much, even though it's, I think, one of the most unreasonably hated series ever. Like it's just ridiculously unreasonably hated. Yeah, Black Clover, I liked it way more than the average person because I went into it with totally different expectations. I was like, this is going to be the worst series of all time. I'm watching it because my roommate is watching it, but I've heard it's bad. But I liked it a lot because I went in with low expectations. And it does sidestep a lot of the heavier type of ideas that it kind of approaches. But it does one thing that's really, really simple, okay? Here's one, it is very aware of how cliche it is. It becomes a little less cliche over time. Initially, it's hard to watch because it's very, very cliche for like the first, 20% of it. It's very cliche. But then the characters become more lovable. It does one very, very simple thing, which is that it cares about all of its characters and it pays attention to all of the arcs that are currently happening for all of the characters, right? and it's very difficult to do with as large of a cast as it has, but it does legitimately care about all of its characters, and it goes out of its way to make sure that every character gets their moment, their storyline, and their little arc woven into the context of the bigger arc. And that's very, very rare for a cast this large. There's no other shonen series that's doing that right now. One Piece is not doing that right now, for the record. So, like, you can look at the most recent chapters, like, even Magna. Why is Magna getting, like, it's just, the author cares about all of the characters that he's written. So, no, Black Clover is not a great series, but it's a very enjoyable series for basic shonen stuff, because it just does all of the basic shonen stuff well. And yeah, it's very cliche, but it even, like, has a lot of self-aware little winks to how cliche it is. So, if you care about a very simple series that'll give you enjoyable shonen action, and where none of the characters are forgotten, and the author clearly cares about giving a little arc or, focus to all of the characters, then, focus on that. I mean, then watch Black Clover. Some people are saying Haikyuu does this, so if that's the case, then I understand why Haikyuu is so liked. I'm just not interested in watching a volleyball series, but otherwise I would definitely, promote the shit out of Black Clover, Beyond that, other shonen series, Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm a little bit behind because I want to binge the latest chapters. Guys, I do have to call the stream in a second. I kind of got to go. But I'll just finish up this question. So Jujutsu Kaisen, I just want to see Gojo versus Sukuna. How about that? So I'll say that. AJK, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. More just not ball fan, says Jinho Wong. No, I'm just not down for really sports series and manga. Like, I don't know, just I'm sure that a lot of them are very good. That's just not my cup of tea as much. I'm sure I would even enjoy it if I tried it. I just don't have the interest to push me to give it a shot. Then besides that, what else is there? Talked about Jujutsu, Chainsaw Man, not really right now, Black Clover. My Hero, I'm too far behind, but I like My Hero. I'm just too far behind to give you an honest think of, like, what's the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. And I think I'm going to end it on that question. Expect maybe some Chainsaw Man content going forward. Logi Dogi, a complete stranger, is wishing me a good night. Thank you to you, Logi Dogi. Good night to you as well. No slam dunk? Yeah, probably not. That's about it, guys. Thank you very much for tuning into the stream. Thanks for liking it. Thanks for briefly disliking it. And thanks for reversing and going back to liking it. I will talk to you all later.